You don't know how to argue, here's how to structure an argument. I'll show you the key steps to build a strong, persuasive case.
Let's be honest, most people don't argue. They react, they assert, they repeat things they've heard. They get louder, they get emotional, they get personal, and then they call that debating. It's not, it's noise. And the reason it's noise is simple. They don't know how to structure an argument. What an argument actually is. An argument is not shouting, disagreeing, having a strong opinion, winning a conversation. An argument is a set of reasons intended to support a conclusion. That's it. No emotion required, no aggression required, no personality required, just structure, the basic structure. This alone will put you above 90% of people. Every proper argument has three parts. 1. Premise, a statement that provides a reason. 2. Premise, another supporting reason. 3. Conclusion, what follows from those premises.
All humans are animals. All humans are mammals. So, all humans are animals and mammals. That's an argument. Clean, logical, no drama.
Example, Premise 1. All humans are mortal. Premise 2. Socrates is human. Conclusion, Socrates is mortal. That's an argument. Clean, logical, no drama. Now compare that to how people argue online. That's stupid. You're wrong. Do your research. That's not an argument. That's emotional leakage. Aristotle. The blueprint you should have been taught. Aristotle formalized argument structure over 2,000 years ago. He gave us logos, logic, ethos, credibility, pathos, emotion. Most people rely on pathos only. They feel strongly, so they think they're right. But strong feeling is not evidence.
Hello, let's talk about valid and sound arguments. A valid argument means if the premises are true, the conclusion must be true. A sound argument is valid and has true premises. So a sound argument always gives a true conclusion.
Valid versus sound. This is where people get exposed. Two key terms: valid argument. The conclusion logically follows from the premises. Sound argument. The argument is valid and the premises are true. Example of valid but not sound. Premise 1. All cats can fly. Premise 2. My pet is a cat. Conclusion. My pet can fly. That's valid, but it's not sound because the premise is false. Most people don't check either. They just vibe check the conclusion.
In social settings, people often accept arguments at face value. They don't check if the facts are true or the logic holds up. This leads to misunderstandings and false belief spreading. We need to be more critical and verify information.
The hidden assumption problem. Most arguments fail because of unstated premises. Example, this policy is bad. Why? Because it reduces freedom. Why is reducing freedom bad? Now we're getting somewhere. Every argument rests on values, assumptions, definitions. If you don't expose them, you're not arguing, you're implying. Define your terms or you're wasting time. Half of all arguments are fake. Not because people disagree, but because they're using the same word differently. Freedom, justice, fairness, equality, truth. These are not self-explanatory. If you don't define your terms, you're not debating, you're talking past each other. Steelman versus strawman. A strawman is when you weaken someone's argument to make it easier to attack. A steelman is when you present their argument in its strongest possible form.
Hey, to steelman an argument, first understand the other side, then make their case stronger, even better than they did. This helps you find the truth and have better debates. Give it a try. Let's talk about strawmanning an argument. You twist the original point into something weaker, then you attack that version instead. It's a sneaky way to win a debate, but now you can spot it.
Most people strawman because they want to win. But if your goal is truth, you steelman. Because if your argument survives the strongest version of the opposing view, is actually solid. Emotional arguments aren't arguments. Let's be precise. Emotion can signal importance. It cannot prove truth. Saying this is harmful is not an argument. You must explain how, to whom, under what conditions, based on what principle. Otherwise, it's just a reaction. Burden of proof. Most people get this wrong. If you make a claim, you must support it, not the other person. You don't get to say, prove me wrong. That's intellectual laziness. The person making the claim carries the burden, always. Common fallacies you see every day. Ad hominem, attacking the person instead of the argument. You're just biased. Appeal to popularity. Everyone knows this. False dilemma. It's either this or that. Circular reasoning. It's true because it's true. Appeal to emotion. This feels wrong, therefore it is. Once you see these, you can't unsee them. What a strong argument looks like. A strong argument has clear premises, defines key terms, exposes assumptions, follows logical structure, acknowledges counter-arguments, survives criticism. It doesn't rely on volume, confidence, outrage, identity. Why this actually matters? Because bad arguments don't just waste time. They distort truth, manipulate people, justify harm, spread misinformation. If you can't structure an argument, you are vulnerable to anyone who can. You don't need to be a genius to argue well. You don't need a degree. You don't need to read 50 philosophers. You don't need perfect knowledge. You need structure. You need to be able to say, here is why I'm claiming. Here are the reasons I'm giving. Here is how those reasons lead to that conclusion. That alone puts you ahead of most people, because most people are not arguing. They are expressing positions they've never broken down. And here's the uncomfortable part. If you can't structure your argument, you don't actually know what you believe. You have a reaction, not a position. You have a feeling, not a framework.
Hello. Today, let's talk about feelings and arguments. Feelings are important, but they are not arguments. An argument needs clear reasons and logic. So remember, feelings are valid, but not arguments.
You have a conclusion, floating without support. And that's why people get defensive so quickly. Because when you challenge their conclusion, there's nothing underneath it. No premises, no structure, no clarity. So it feels like an attack on them. The discipline of slowing down. Real argument forces you to slow down. You can't just say this is wrong. You have to say this is wrong because, and then keep going. Because what comes after because is where your thinking is exposed. That's where people hesitate. That's where people get vague. That's where people switch from reasoning to emotion. The moment most people break. If you've ever asked someone, why do you think that? You've seen it happen. They pause. They repeat the claim. They deflect. They get irritated.
Most people can't explain why they think something. They have views, but can't articulate the reasons behind them. It's about understanding our own thought processes.
Not because they're stupid, because they've never been forced to structure their belief before. That moment right there is the gap between having an opinion and having an argument. How to test yourself brutally. Here's a simple test. Take any belief you hold strongly. Now answer this. What exactly is my claim? What are my premises? Are those premises actually true? Do they logically lead to my conclusion? What would someone who disagrees say? Can my argument survive their strongest version? If you can't answer those, you're not thinking clearly yet. You're defending something you haven't examined. Why this separates you from the crowd? Most people don't do this. They repeat what they've heard, defend what feels right, attack what feels wrong. They don't structure, which means if you do, you don't just sound smarter. You are thinking more clearly.
Clear thinking removes personal emotion and opinions. It focuses on the facts and how these facts interact with logic and validity. This process helps us arrive at sound conclusions.
And clarity is power, because in a world full of noise, the person who can say, "Here is my argument, step by step," controls the conversation, the responsibility that comes with it. But there's a flip side. Once you know how to structure an argument, you can't go back. You start noticing weak reasoning, hidden assumptions, emotional manipulation, logical gaps everywhere, in debates, in media, in politics, in your own thinking. And that means you have a responsibility, not just to win arguments, but to be precise, to avoid the same laziness you now recognize in others. You don't win arguments by being louder. You don't win arguments by being more confident. You don't win arguments by being more offended. You win arguments by being more offended. You win arguments by being structured. So next time you speak, don't ask, "Do I feel strongly about this?" Ask, "Can I actually build this into an argument that holds?" Because if you can't structure it, you don't understand it yet.